You ever been out fishing, find that perfect spot, and suddenly there's a no trespassing sign staring back at you? Yeah, that's what just happened in East Texas, except this time the sign has kicked off a full blown legal war. There's this place folks around here call the CUTOFF. It's about 12 miles long and used to be part of the Trinity River before the levee project back in the 1920s split it off. For generations, locals have gone there to fish, swim, and cool off in the summer. Then a few years ago, a landowner named Philip Searles, through his company Iron River Ranch, bought the property around that stretch of water and built a fence that blocks public access. He says the fence is there to keep his cattle in and to protect his private land, but locals saw it differently. They say the cutoff has always been part of the old river and that anyone should be able to fish or paddle there. That disagreement has turned into a lawsuit, multiple appeals, and a grassroots movement called Save the Cutoff. Now, if you've ever tried to make sense of Texas water law, good luck. Even lawyers call it muddy. Here's the short version. Whether a waterway in Texas is public or private depends on whether if it's navigable. There are two main tests. Navigable by statute, if the riverbed averages at least 30 feet wide from its mouth to its upper reaches, is considered public. Navigable, in fact, basically, if you can reasonably float a canoe or small boat down to it, it still counts. So when folks say if you can float a canoe there, it's public. That's actually a decent summary, just simplified for normal people. The Save the Cutoff group argues this channel still meets those standards and that public access has existed for generations. But the local district court recently ruled that the cutoff is not navigable, meaning for now it's private. The fishermen are appealing that decision, and if they win, it could set a major precedent for how Texans access rivers and streams across the state. So, yeah, this isn't about just one fishing hole. This could reshape outdoor access in all of Texas. Now, here's what really makes this story interesting. Both sides have legit reasons. Searles says people are crossing fences, wandering through his pasture, and potentially spooking his cattle. He's within his rights to protect his livestock and property. On top of that, he says he's just trying to follow the law. The court ruled it private, so he's enforcing it. But from the locals' perspective, they've been fishing there long before any fence went up. It's not just a fishing hole, it's a part of their community, their memories, their weekends. They're now raising money to cover thousands in legal fees because they believe this isn't just about one landowner, it's about every Texan's right to the water. What makes this even trickier is that the cutoff is technically a former channel of the Trinity River, not a natural branch that's always been separate. That history blurs the line between private and public ownership. And since a levee separated it a century ago, no one's quite sure how the law treats it. That's why this case has drawn in everyone from environmental lawyers to outdoor recreation groups. It even touches federal law. Parts of the dispute involve the Clean Water Act and how the waterways are defined under it. So if the fishermen lose, it could mean landowners have more power to fence off creeks and backwater channels that used to be open. If they win, it could reaffirm public access to waterways that Texans have always considered to be part of their heritage. Either way, it's going to ripple far beyond Henderson County. And look, this hits home for a lot of us because when you grow up around Texas rivers, you don't think about who owns the water. You just grab a rod, a buddy, and a cooler, and you go. But these lawsuits are reminding everyone that sometimes those public places might not be public at all. So what do you think? Should the landowners be able to fence off water that used to be open? Or should Texans have the right to cast a line anywhere a river once flowed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them. And if you love stories where outdoor meets real world issues, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with a fellow Texan. Because the cutoff might just decide the future of public water in this state. This is Patrick from Lovely Adventures, and I'll see you out there.